For me, it's a total whole. It's based, one morning I wake up and make a track, then 2 hours later I have a cup of tea and draw a picture. It's sort of, it's just my life, so it's just all mangled in together. I don't really, never do I sit down and say, okay, I'm going to try to make something like this. It just happens. When I was actually in Brooklyn, I wasn't making that much stuff. I was making a lot more just sort of weird sound pieces and trying to make the weirdest sound I could make. And then when I went back to Australia, I just sort of sat myself in the bedroom for like a week, just locked myself down and sort of knocked out like about action. It was like which was this, I don't know, it was like a hybrid of sort of real British punk rock songs. One was my try at a rock and roll song. I think it was always going to come through the hip hop influence because I've always loved, like, not necessarily like hip hop, the rhymes, but I've always liked backing tracks, and I totally love production. The only stuff I really sample is my own stuff. Like, I don't really, like my friends at Avalanches, all they do is sample other people's ish. But my stuff was always like, I went up to a mate's house, just grabbed the mic, got him to hold over the drums. I'd play the drums, get some loops out of that, then put it down, just get a rhythm going, and get the guitar, put the mic between my legs, just sort of strum the shit over the top of that. So then the backing track, so everything was made in, like, the production was quite hip hop, it was made in a hip hop way, I suppose. And then over the top I just scream or rap. So it wasn't like the typical garage rock band where everyone's in the garage and you press play on Pro Tools or whatever and record everything live. Everything was recorded live, but one take at a time, which would always start off with a beat, and then the guitar, and then after that, then you'd sort of muck around with it and say, okay, this is going to be the chorus or whatever. The Pony Ride video we would have done about 1.5 years ago now, and it was basically, I don't know, I just came up with the concept to have really, really big heads and then sort of be animated in a sequence of images around Braidwood and around the country town that I'm from. So we basically just filmed ourselves all blacked out with our head to mime the song, and then we filmed our bodies, and then we collaged the two elements together, and then we put those over the back of an image of just stills that were based on around Braidwood. So it's using, in a way it's using exact same procedures I used to make my music. It's all based on loops and just repetitive sequences of plays like that. I think once you're an art student, you always, in some ways, even though like I've graduated and stuff, but you always, it's what you learn, it's what you went to university for. And the sad thing about a lot of art students is they go to school, but they're nothing, it's a weird thing to go to school for because you learn certain things that aren't really that useful in the business world that we're in, or if you want to be in that sort of world. But there's a lot of useful things that I suppose if you can flip it around and you do have your foot in the music industry or doing a business, that you can then bring those thoughts and processes through. It gave me a basis to work on a lot more art theories in my music and a lot more thoughts on just reading about like Dadaism and all the different movements. I think I put that into my music making, which is probably a weird concept, but it's worked for me. When I was at Pratt and I had to think of it, an internship, all I could come up with either was working in an art gallery or a fashion house or a record company. And I think that I didn't want to work at a record company to learn about a record company. I basically wanted to go there to get my foot in the door and just stick my demos in the demo bin. But the funny thing was I never actually got around to doing that. All I was doing was like licking stamps and just nicking loads of records which you weren't supposed to take, and going and getting to go to all the free shows. So I learned quite a bit at Astralworks there, but I sort of learnt how I'd hate to, the poor dude has to lick all the stamps and sign all the fan mail and all the ish jobs. I was like, oh, this sucks, I'd hate to do that. And then it was just freaky that when I went back home, I don't know, 4 months down the track, Astralworks wanted to sign me, and then I went in there and the intern kid that they were sort of like, hi, but when I went back, they were like hugging me and, hey, how you doing? And I was like, you weren't hugging me before, like, what's going on? I think on the surface I didn't learn anything, but I think inside, just because you're in that environment, you do learn ish, but you don't think you do, but I think you do, you know what I mean? It's pretty crazy, I suppose, like when I look back at it and think how it's all panned out, it's pretty nuts. But I suppose like from the early age of 10, I've always known what I wanted to do, and I've always known that I want to make just weird ass music and have fun with it. And I suppose like anything, if you put your head down and just keep doing it, sooner or later it cracks, and then you're doing what you want to do. This is Chris from Bumblebeez. Hey, and Pony Ride Clip. Go and buy the album, you like it.